Hey guys, Bo here. I'm working on teaching you guys how to add the stay cue to a behavior, all right? First things first, we have to talk about implied stays versus the stay cue. And we do have another video on this, so check that out. But implied stay basically means that they are supposed to stay even though they're not told to stay. So like a good example is like when I'm heeling around the room, walking with me at my side, and I stop, they're to automatically sit. And then I pay them for that automatic sit. Well, they aren't supposed to just get up. They're supposed to hold that sit until I tell them to do something different, like go back into another heeling cue. All right, so when I come to a stop, he automatically sits, and in order to keep him there, I'll just continue to hand him treats as long as he stays there. Now on day one of that implied stay, I do 5 treats in 5 seconds. And then as we move along, I'll slow down the cadence of those treats to where he learns to hold that for longer and longer and longer, all right? Now this video is on actually adding the stay cue. So what's the difference between applied stay, which is basically you're just supposed to, and me actually giving a cue, which by the way, the cue looks like a traffic cop signal, and if the dog was here on my left, I would do it right in front of his face, and then I would walk away from him with my right foot first, okay? So the difference between an applied stay and actually adding the cue is whether I walk away from him or not. So if I'm still here with him, I expect him just to hold the stay. But if I'm planning on walking away, but he's to stay here, then I'll give him a cue that says, listen friend, you're gonna stay, but I'm gonna walk away. And I do that with my right foot first because when I want him to come with me, I move off with my left foot first. So that means left foot for heeling or motion or walking with me. Right foot means no motion, don't walk with me, all right? So we're gonna start off with the heel, okay? Then he's going to sit, and this is an automatic sit, and this sit has an implied stay, which means that he's just supposed to hold that, all right? And then I will, be handing him treats and then trying to increase the amount of time that he holds that implied stay, all right? Now, when I give the actual stay cue, okay, and I move off with my right foot first, okay, I'm gonna move directly in front of him, so I'll say stay and move directly in front, and I will be 1 foot in front of him, okay, and I will give him 1 treat every 1 second, and it will be 5 treats every single time, okay? So every single repetition, I'll give him 5 treats. All right, so I'm gonna say stay, move out front, right foot first, directly face him, hand him one foot in front of him, and then 1 treat every 1 second, all right? And then when I come back to him, all right, so I return to the dog's side. I give him 1 treat for holding his position while I return, because sometimes that motion back towards the dog makes them jump. So when I come back to him, I give him a treat, and then I head back into another heeling cue using my left foot first, okay, for the heel. Now, this is the part that I'm going to be increasing my duration on, is after I say the word stay and I move out front of the dog, all right? On day 2, I'm going to still be 1 foot in front of the dog, but I'm going to hand him 1 treat every 2 seconds. So since I'm using 5 treats every time, on day 1 we were doing 1 foot in front of the dog, but 1 treat every 1 second. Now we're gonna keep that 1 foot in front of the dog, but do 1 treat every 2 seconds. That means I'm gonna basically increase the duration of my stay command when I'm out front to 10 seconds from 5. On day 3, I'm going to increase my distance away from the dog. So I'm going to step 2 feet in front of the dog. And I'm also going to increase the duration by doing 1 treat every 3 seconds. All right, so on day 3, your dog should be understanding this pretty good by day 3. So you're going to increase the distance 2 feet in front, and then you're going to increase the duration up to 15 seconds. Okay, 5 treats, 3-second intervals in between each treat equals a 15-second stay command. Day 4, we're going to stay at 2 feet away, and we're going to do 1 treat every 4 seconds, increasing our duration up to a 20-second. So by the time we get to day 5, by the time we're done with day 4, we should be 2 feet and 20 seconds, okay? We're gonna get to day 5. We're gonna step out 3 feet from the dog. And we're gonna give him 1 treat every 5 seconds. All right, on day 6, we're gonna step out 4 feet in front of the dog. I said that wrong. We're gonna stay at 3 feet in front of the dog. And we're gonna do 1 treat every 6 seconds, okay? So by the time you're finished with day 6, you should be 3 feet in front of the dog for 30 seconds, okay? And you guys see how this goes. You know, the same pattern. Day 7, you're now at 4 feet in front of the dog, and you're doing 1 treat every 7 seconds. Day 8, you are now gonna keep that same 4 feet, but you're gonna do 1 treat every 8 seconds, which means by the end of day 8, we are 4 feet in front of the dog, and we are doing 40 seconds. Now what you're gonna notice is that when you're 4 feet in front of your dog, so let's say here you are, you tell your dog to stay, you walk off with the right foot first, and you get 4 feet in front of him. In order to hand him that treat every 8 seconds, you're gonna have to walk to him to give him the treat, and then walk back to your 4 foot away, and then walk to him to give him the treat, and then back away, back to your 4 feet away, and wait another 8 seconds. So not only are you increasing your difficulty here with longer duration as well as further distance from the dog, but down here in this 3 foot, 4 foot, 5 foot, 6 foot area, you're actually starting to add in motion to and from the dog, which can make them jump as well. So that's another higher difficulty level, okay? So you're gonna initially start to increase your stay commands with duration only, okay? Then you're gonna start to add in some distance. And then once you get down here, you're adding in a little bit of motion. So these dogs in little bitty intervals are adding in little bitty pieces of difficulty as you move along, all right? So that's how we introduce our sit stay. When you take that stay cue and you work it really hard in the sit, you can then add that stay to your downs, you can add that stay to your place commands, you can add that stay to a stand, whatever else you want to add that stay to. Most of the time the dogs do much, much better after they've learned the stay. When you're adding it to these other commands, they kind of get it. But when you do add the stay cue to those other commands, you're going to follow this exact same pattern. The dog's just in a different position, all right? Now just to reiterate that after you're done being out front, adding on the stay cue, when you come back to the dog, when you return to their side, I usually give them some treats when I return to their side, because every time I want to return to their side after I'm out front, they want to move and break their cue. So I come back to them and give them treats to let them know, hey, you should continue to hold until I walk away left foot first back into the heel. So treats when you first get the sit, say stay, come out front, treats during the stay, and then when you come back, treats after. So treats before, during, as well as after while doing this, okay? Hopefully that makes sense. Here's a couple of examples. Andre, heel. So here's Mr. Andre. Here's the sit. I'm gonna pay him for that. Now, as long as we just stand here, I'm just gonna keep paying him so that he doesn't move, okay? And that's the part what we call the implied stay. Now I'm gonna add the stay cue. Andre, stay, and I walk away with my right foot. All right, so here's our first treat, and he's a little farther along now. Second treat, third treat, fourth treat, and then here's my fifth treat. I'm going to put that in front of his nose as I walk back to keep him there, and then I'm going to give him a couple more treats so that he understands that even though I've moved back to him, he shouldn't move. And then left foot first, back into the heel. And that's what it should look like. Now on as we move along, let's say we're on day 3. We're going to say stay, right foot first. We're going to move out to 3 feet away from the dog. All right? And then I'm going to come back in and hand treats every 3 seconds. All right? So as I move along in my days, I'm not only increasing the amount of time that is in between each treat, but I'm adding more and more distance away from the dog. So I'm increasing the duration as well as the distance, okay? So here we come back to him. 1 treat when I come back, and then back into heel. Okay, now we've moved ahead. We're now on day 5 of teaching our sit-stay. So on day 5 of teaching the sit-stay, let's see, we're going to be at 5 treats or 5 seconds in between each treat. So that should have a 25-second sit-stay. All right, and I'm going to be adding a little bit more distance away. So I'll be somewhere between around 4 or 5 feet away. So stay. Right foot, head back a little further. We're going to wait 5 seconds before handing out the first treat. I'm going to come to him and hand a treat, and then back away again. He's doing really well today. I just bragged on you. You see, I gave the little noise that basically told him there was a mistake that was made. You also notice he kind of settled into that. So, hey. I love that you want to be with me, but we're making a video right now, honey. All right. And then we use this 5th treat to come back to him and back into the heel. Good.